Alright, hello. I got a couple more questions coming in about the JavaScript game framework, so I'm going to show a little bit more about what we can do with the framework itself. So, uh, in this one, we'll do some simple collision detection. Um, we'll start by creating a rectangle that we can see. So, var rect equals new rectangle, and pass in x, y, width and height. Let's say 250, 250, 50, and 50. And then we do rect dot color. We're gonna set the color to new color, and let's make it blue. So 0, 0, 255, 1. So now we need to make sure that we draw our rectangle on the screen. So down at the end of our draw, let's do rect.draw, pass in the context ctx. Now we're going to move up into let's make another rectangle. This one we're going to control. So let's do var rect equals new rectangle. Let's start it at 0, 0 and make it 25 by 25. And let's make this, let's call it rect2, or better yet, let's call it player. It's better. And now let's say player.color is equal to new color. Let's pass in 0, 0. In fact, the color is already white, so we can, it's 255 on all. We could also just do .g is equal to 0 and player.color b is equal to 0. That'll make it red. So in here, inside of the main function, let's first of all, you don't want to do all this in your main function. We'd make a class, kind of, in a separate kind of thing for a player, but this is just for an overview on collision. So let's do a player, let's say actually if player dot let's see, it has an x, so if player.x is less than 0, then let's make player.x equal to 0. If player.y is less than 0, player.y is equal to 0. So if, let me add the input so this makes sense to you. Let's make, let's say that if input dot, let's use the letter keys. So if input.a, then player.x minus equals 5. If input.d, then player.x plus equals 5. If input.w, player.y minus equals 5 because it's going to go up. If input.s, player.y plus equals 5. So doing that, we should be able to, we got to draw our player, by the way, and let's draw it on top of the box, so the player will be above the box if it ever passes it. So let's do player.draw ctx. So there's our player, and he moves a little bit fast when I press the arrow keys, but you can see he goes over the box. And if I go to the right, I go off the screen, but if I try to go all the way to the left, I can't do it. If I go up, I can't do it. That's the reason why we put this check right here. If player's x is less than 0, then set it to 0. We also want to do another check to make sure he doesn't go off the right hand side. So if player.x is and then add the player.width. Yes. I kind of want to show you without first, so you can see why we need to add the player.width if you don't already know. So let's do if player.x is greater than canvas.width, then we want to set the player.x equal to the canvas.width. So when I refresh and go off the page, he goes off, but his 0, 0, the top left corner of this rectangle is right on the edge because we're pushing it back to the width. So that's the reason why we want to check plus the player.width player.width, and as we check the player.width, we also want to subtract the player.width whenever we're setting him back that width. So now when I refresh, he can't go off the right hand side, he can't go off the left, so we're stuck inside this box, except for we need to do the y the same way. So let's do the y. If player.y plus player.height is greater than canvas.height, player.y is equal to canvas.height minus player.height. Alright, that should do it. Yes. Now I can't get out of this box. So now let's do collision on this blue rectangle. We don't want our red rectangle to go through it. We want to hit it and kind of stop, just like we do with the walls. So we can do that by checking the rectangle walls with collision. So we can say if rect.contains, and let's pass in player.x, or we could say intersects, sorry, intersects player, then we know that it's intersecting, but let's find out what side it's on. If let's see if he intersected on the left. If he intersected on the left, then the player's is going to be, his x is going to be less. So if this is the player and this is its width, and the rectangle we're intersecting is here, and that's his width or whatever, that doesn't really matter. You can see that we intersected from the left. That means our x position, top left, is going to be less than the y. So that's something we can do to check. We can just say, we can say if player.x is less than rect.x, then player.x equals rect.x subtracted by the player.width, because we need to move it the width of the player over. So let's see if that works. Yep, see, I can't intersect that rectangle anymore. I get stuck on it. Now I can go in through the left, and you'll see he'll pop out. See, well, he's going a little fast. Can't really see it. But I can enter it on this side all I want. I just can't enter through the right-hand side. So we need to check the other sides. We want to say else if the player. We want to say else if player.x is greater than rect.x, then the player.x is going to equal to the rect.x plus the rect.width. So now I won't be able to enter on the right hand side. See, it gets stuck there too. So now you can see how he jumps out, because we're checking, see how we're checking this? It's going a little fast. Let's slow him down. Let's put like two there or whatever. But now you can see if we go on the top, he's going to pop out on one of the sides depending on if his x is greater than or not. So we don't want to do that. We just want to hit it and pop out on the top. So to do that, we need to enter our checks on the y. These do become complicated because we don't want to check them separately from these, because then these will execute first and you'll still see that popping to the left. So you want to check simultaneously. You want to say you're going to do a sub-check here. So what you want to do is you will want to check first if the y, may open up something here so I can explain it. So we have our two rectangles, and what we can do is we can check the y of this. So if we check if our little box is within this y, so if I'm greater than its y, but yet my x is less than, if this x and y is greater than the rectangle's y, but yet less than the rectangle's y plus the height, then I know that I'm checking on the left or right side instead of the top and bottom. So let's write something for that. We can say if the player.y is greater than the the rect.y and player.y is less than rect.y plus rect.width, we know that we're definitely on one of the sides, so we can continue with this check here. Otherwise, let's do an else if. Else if the player.x, let's do the same thing except in reverse. This will tell us, this will generate an anomaly, but we'll do it nonetheless to kind of put out an example. So, there we go. This should be height, by the way. And this is width, yes. So if the player's x is greater than the rect x and it's less than the rect x plus the width, we're going to do the same thing except for the y. So we say if the player.y is less than the rect.y, then the player.y is equal to the rect.y minus the player height. Let's kind of just spread that across here. Y, 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 y. Okay. So let's jump back into this and refresh. It looks like I have an error in my syntax. And it's right here. So now if we go back, refresh, bam, he gets stuck on the top. Bam, he gets stuck there. There's that anomaly I was talking about, kind of popping that you see. There's a little bit of popping, but notice it only works whenever your x is outside like that. You'll see it pop. So you can do some math to check, hey, there we go, there's the anomaly. Right there. So those corners are the anomaly that I was saying was going to happen. Because we're only checking the x. We're not checking the x plus the width. But this video is getting kind of long. This was a pretty good introduction to it. To fully fix it, I mean, I could make another video for it if people really don't or can't figure it out. Just send me a message saying, hey, I can't figure it out, and I will make another video to explain how to fix the anomaly, but I will give a quick explanation now. Basically, you need to do the same check. Instead of using the player.y, you also want to use the player.height, or y plus the player.height. Yes. So you can check the bottom right corner as well. You've got to check the corners to make sure. So that's a quick overview of how you can use the framework for some quick prototyping collision detection. You can obviously go super in-depth with it, but this was just a quick overview of how you can use the framework, and I want to make a couple more videos on other ways you can use the framework to do cool stuff. So thanks.